hello to all my friends out there, and welcome again back to If I Can, You Can. My name is Deborah Philbert, and I am your host today again. Again, I would say to thank the ones who all the likes, the shares, and all the ones who have been commenting, continue giving us your comments and feedback on the show. I want to say thank you again, and we say happy Saturday. And I also want to thank everyone in the our wonderful viewers who are on the different countries around the world, like Africa, France, Canada, Korea, England, Spain, Dominica, Jamaica, Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago, and all the other beautiful islands of the Caribbean who are watching us here today. I want to say thank you guys again today. And I want to say, again, every week I talk about If I Can, You Can talk show. If I Can, You Can is a talk show, which is a global talk show, which focuses on the many difficulties that we face in life today. It's helping people to tell their story. And it's like telling your story because our story it's important because we all have a story. So it's helping some of our guests tell their story from where they are or where they came from to where they are today. And so it's such a beautiful flower, you can say, like telling your story from maybe your hurts, your pains, or what adversity you went through in life, and then coming on to being something, doing something good for somebody else, or doing something good for the world, or being successful in your business. So this is why If I Can, You Can was formed. Um, I just want you to remember again. Remember to continue to share, to share, to share. Remember, we are on Roku, we are on Amazon, we are on Facebook Live right now, we are on live streaming on Imagine Me TV. We are in 50 different states around America right now, and we are in different countries around the world. So you just hop on to which station that is suitable for you, and and just listen because today we have a phenomenal guest, and this guest is a dear friend of mine, and we met a couple of years ago, and we made dear friends. And she is, I'll give you a little bit about her. She's a senior business consultant and training director of SJ Consulting Limited. She's also services, and she's also the managing director of Breakthrough Leadership Institute and the host of Breakthrough, a weekly broadcasting business for people, and people live and lead their purpose, their passion and purpose. So again, this is Sharon. She's going to be coming on like in a few minutes. So just be prepared to learn, to listen, because she is such a phenomenal business consultant, and maybe you might be looking for some tips from her. So today our topic is how to identify your purpose. So she's going to be talking about how to identify your purpose. And I can't wait to hear what she has, to teach us today, to tell us. So tell us from where she came from to who she are today with all these businesses that she owns right now. So again, I'm so excited. Again, I'm excited for her coming on. Again, remember to continue to share, 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 share. Continue to share with everybody and invite, because this is what helps us to grow. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back with you with our featured guest today, Sharon A. Joseph. Hello, hello, welcome, my beautiful sister. Welcome to If I Can, You Can talk show. It's such a
Thank
pleasure
you.
having you on today, and I know it's going to be a great ride. And
Thank you.
I was just saying. So, welcome to Sharon A. Joseph. Um, great friend. You know,
Thank you,
friends have
Deb.
supporting each other. A great sister in Christ, a sister that supports you. And you know, in this time, you always need to have friends, sisters who can support each other in whatever we're going through, especially in the COVID season, especially for our mental health. And I thank you for taking that opportunity to hopping onto the show today. If I can, you can. And I can't wait to hear what you have to, you know, give our audience, to talk to our audience today with all the beautiful, with showing people how to identify their purpose. So I am so excited about that because maybe I can learn something new today too, right? And so one of the things that my sister that we the show starts, and when all my guests come on, one thing I ask them is like, you know, please tell me a little bit of yourself. Just tell me a little bit about yourself because this is what the show is about, telling of your story and then going from where you come from to where you are today. But just a little bit about you so your audience will know who you are and you know what you do.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Deborah, for having me on. I'm so excited for this If I Can, You Can show, and I'm excited to be a guest on today. Now, the good thing that you already know is that we were both born in Trinidad. So I like to say that I was born in Trinidad and bred in New York City. And my journey to New York City was not an easy one. My mother, she was in an abusive relationship, and she ran away when I was just 3 years old for her life and left me with my her aunt. And one night, someone came in and attacked my aunt. And I was just 3 years old. She said, "Hide under the bed, I'll come and get you." Now, at 3 years old, if you see someone beating someone else up, you want to come out and fight or do something like beat on that person. But I was obedient. Normally, 3 year olds, they just,
You know,
they act vicariously. But I stayed under the bed until she came and got me. If not, he may have done whatever to me. So that was the first kind of miracle of me just being alive now. But the funny thing about that was it was so traumatic to me. And I didn't realize it at the time, but I believe that's when I began to stutter. I stuttered so badly, I couldn't even say my name is Sharon in one sentence without stuttering through every word. So I'd say something like, my name is and the vein would raise and I couldn't enunciate two letters, S's and W's. Think about it, Deborah. My name begins with S. And
right.
every question, who, what, when, where, why, begins with W. So I couldn't enunciate those two words, and people bullied me all through my school, into high school. I would never go to a high school reunion because I didn't have any friends there. So it
Right.
was a really, really challenging time for me. But during that time, and it's funny, I'm talking and an emotional pang just came to my heart about it. During that time, I wasn't being loved. I didn't have friends, but something in me wanted to love and care about other people. And I start thinking, if I could speak, I would tell them, like someone else who was being bullied, don't worry that, or I'll defend that person. I just had this need in me to help other people. It's just so weird because I was hurting and I wanted to help people who were hurting as well. Nonetheless, nowhere in my wildest dream did I ever think that after having gone through something like that, not being able to speak until you're an adult, and how did I learn to eventually speak? How did I get here? I read the King James Bible and I read a dictionary. I know it's very unusual, but it's very true. I remember even when I moved to New York at 17, I was still reading the Bible and a dictionary to learn to enunciate words because the dictionary breaks up the words for you, and the Bible long words like Melchizedek or these different long words you learn in the Bible, they were broken up into pieces. So I was able to practice enunciating until I was able to speak better. And then I had done something that was really unusual. I didn't have many friends, and I worked as a teenager and saved every dime I worked for. Again, I didn't have friends to go to the mall and go shopping and waste money on things. So I saved it. And my desperate need to learn to speak pushed me to use the money I had worked for all summer long. It was close to $2,000 and I paid for a course in human relations and effective speaking. I was the youngest person in that class, and I didn't know that it was primarily for executives, or at that time, they were primarily executives in that class, although it was open for everyone. And I stumbled through that entire session of Dale Carnegie course in human relations and effective speaking. But when I graduated, I went back again and again for like 10 years. I was desperate to learn to speak and talk to people. And if you call the New York office even now, someone told me they called and they remembered my name. I was like, what? But my point is, after I graduated from Dale Carnegie, I joined Toastmasters. And I know that you know Toastmasters really well because
Yes.
you're an amazing member.
Yeah.
So, having been a member of Toastmasters for many, as a matter of fact, I've been a member of or involved with Toastmasters International for over 25 years. So, I
Wow.
just kept learning and growing, and now actually I'm about to be establish a club in my area here in Pennsylvania, and
That's
yes,
awesome.
I'll be the president of this new club. So I'm very excited. So that's
Exciting.
part of my journey.
It's-
The other, I'm sorry, go ahead.
And that's awesome because that's where we met, Toastmasters. It was so funny. Yeah, it's like we had was a conference in
Yes,
Toastmasters,
in Atlanta.
and I think we took a picture and then we realized we were in the cafeteria, something like that.
Yes,
And we stumbled on each other, and so we realized we were both from Trinidad. And
yes,
that's how the friendship grew. And it's like so funny. I know we met at Toastmasters, but Sid fellow Toastmaster. And so it tell all the Toastmasters out there, this is how friendship grow. And this is what I love Toastmasters about. Because you get so many genuine friendships. You get, I still have
yeah,
friends in Toastmasters who that I can still rely on or count on for anything that I'm going through, and the support that you get. So, and as you said, you didn't. The thing about it, when you talked about you didn't what you stuttered, right? Because you
yes.
couldn't speak. But for me, it was that I was afraid to speak because of my abuse.
Wow.
So it's so funny. When you put the two together, you had a scare. Then you
Yeah.
started stuttering. For me, I would not talk.
Wow.
It's like so. People, if you look out there now, you can say, um, no matter what we have in life, our stories always come back similar to something that happened in your life.
Absolutely. We have so much more in common, Deborah, than we do than not. So if we would truly just take the time to meet and understand and yeah, ask questions, you begin to realize that we have so much more in common. But
Yeah.
once I got to New York, I kept learning. There's something in me. I'm just a lifelong learner. So even
Mhm.
before I went to NYU, I started working as a temp, working at many different companies in New York. And I learned so much because for some reason, my love for people showed. And I
Yeah.
was now beginning to learn to speak. So I was always ready to want to show someone that I cared about them. I realized that people don't care how much you know unless they know how much you care. So, with that in mind, I always wanted to show people that I cared about them. And my employers realized that. So, they sent me to all of these new accounts of companies that they were having needing temps. And temps were like a big thing in the 90s, right?
Yeah.
Or even the
Yeah.
80s, I believe. And I visited many different companies. And then I ended up at this investment company, Santander Investment, Spain. They had just come to New York as a bank, and I was working in their marketing department. And it's amazing how God connects you to other people. While working there in the marketing department, we were planning a conference in Puerto Rico, and I had hired a temp. Now, at that time, I was permanent, and I hired a temp to help me with the marketing and getting the things over to Puerto Rico. And when she left after the 3 month period or whatever, she was working at Standard and Poor's. And shortly after, the markets went down or whatever happened, and I was laid off. And I was coming to the end of my whatever package they gave me when they laid me off. And I was thinking, God, I need a job. I was literally on my knees. And at that time, I lived on Fifth Avenue across the street from Central Park. So I couldn't not be working, if you know what I mean. So I was The rent was, yeah, so I was on my knees crying out to God and saying, God, I have one more month of this package,
Right.
of income, and what do I do? And when I'm praying, and at that time we had, those phones that you literally answered at home. I was on my knees and the phone was by the nightstand, and I never answer my phone when I'm praying, never. But somehow this time I was on my knees and I just reached and answered the phone as it called. And the agency told me, the same agency I used to work at called and said, hey, Standard and Poor's is asking for you. Have you ever worked there? I'm like, no. They're
No.
like, "Oh, they're asking for you and they want you to send in your resume." And I said, is it for a permanent job or a temporary job? The boldness of some people, I tell you. They said, well, it's for a temporary position, but they still want to see your resume and interview you. I said, no, well, if it's a temporary position, I'm not going to go through the hassle. And again, you're thinking about saving your money, right? You don't want to just go spending
You don't
ticket
want to
price
have
back and
time. Yeah.
forth. So I
Especially
said,
living in New York.
huh?
Especially living in New York.
Right, exactly. So I said, if it's just for a temporary position, I don't want to send my resume and go through the hassle of that. I'm looking for a job to just start working now. And she spoke to them and said, well, she's one of our best and she was with us and she worked here. And they said, okay, fine, send her. It was just so amazing that I had the nerve to tell them I'm not going to send my resume and go for an interview for a temporary position. You know that I can do it. I've been doing it for a while. And that's how I ended up at Standard and Poor's in the Performance Evaluation Services group. And then I applied for a position in the greatest financial earner of the company, the structured finance group, the guys who does the rating for companies and countries, the S&P ratings group. And the manager of my current group recommended me, and I got the position to manage the operations of this over 500 people group. So the Lord brought this little girl who was so afraid and couldn't speak from that
Mm.
point to being managing a group, the operations of this group of over 500 people. How did I
Yeah.
do that? I know it wasn't me. And I think that's the God we serve. He created us for such a great purpose. And
Yeah.
sometimes we don't always understand what the purpose is or how to get from where we are into operating effectively in that purpose. So I
Yeah.
hope that wasn't too long an answer for you.
But you're talking about that, and that's where our story comes in because you have to give us a story in our life. You are somebody who started, and you end up doing something phenomenal. You end up working with a company, 500 people. So some people wouldn't do that. They were like, oh, but you make sure you fight your adversity. You fight that stuff that was holding you back. Because I'm going to Gail Carnegie at a young age, not many people want to do that. Some people hold back and like, oh, I can't, I stutter, so I'm not going to do this. So I'm ashamed of doing that. And so what I commend you for doing that. I commend you for and who you are today. Look at you. You keep growing and growing and growing. No matter what, nothing holds you back. And that's the thing about
Absolutely.
it. That's the beautiful thing about our story is where we came from. That part in our life where we grew up, it was so tough and it was so hard. But it's so easier for you to say, oh, it's hard. But it's okay to come out of that and just fight to get where you want to go to. So I am so proud of you for that, my sister. And
Absolutely. Thank you.
so great to hear your story about that. And I hope people out there, just take it. Even my sister said she started when she was young, but at the age of what, 15 or
Hmm. 17.
17, she saved her money. This is it. She saved her money that she was working for to make sure that she can do something better for herself. That make sure that she can be able to speak, like in stuttering, stop stuttering. But look at her today. So you're gonna hear so much more from my sister from where she came from, and I love it because coming from Trinidad, going through New York, stuttering and feeling that you're not, wanted or people's not gonna like you, having no friends, being bullied, and to who you are today. And
Hmm.
I just hope people that you take note that even though we have kids, just show them that thing positive. Hey, look, you can overcome it. And you can come to
Absolutely.
be the next president, or you can come to be the next owner of a company. They can do anything. So I am so proud of you, my sister, and I'm
Thank you.
blessed to be your sister.
Thank you.
Right?
Thank you. I'm so excited.
And so today we talking, as we done, as I said before, how to identify your purpose, and that's one of the things. And it's just like what she just gave you that story up about herself. That's her purpose. She always had a purpose to do, to help others. She had a purpose that she knows she's going to stuttering is even though it isn't. She's going to stop stuttering. She's going to break that, and she's going to do it. But her purpose was to help others. Her purpose is to do. And in this right now, she's helping businesses. She's helping because she helps me too. So in other thing in that purpose. So she's serving a purpose. So give us a little bit about about how to identify your purpose. So I know that's our topic today.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So this these seeds I'm holding, I've been saving them for a while. They're apple seeds.
Okay.
When these seeds are planted, the only thing that can come out of these seeds are apples. Sometimes we don't identify the seed that's in us. And sometimes the seed that's in us, it's like a diamond in the rough, in the sense that we don't know it's a diamond because it hasn't been refined yet. Like my ability to speak, I have spoken to thousands of people. I now do this broadcast every Sunday and at 7 p.m., helping people understand what their purpose is so that I'm giving them tips, tools, and insights to live passionately for their purpose. So your question is, how do you go about identifying your purpose? One, know that it's inside of you.
Inside of
Look
you.
at your family, see what they're good at, what they naturally do well. Then look at yourself and see the things that you really enjoy doing, that you're passionate about, that there's a crying and longing inside of you to want to do that thing. For me, I wanted to love on people. When I saw other people hurting, I wanted to help them or not make them hurt. The funny thing is, I had that feeling inside of me even while I was hurting myself. So look inside of you and see what that yearning is. There is something that's yearning in you that you need to do that nothing can satisfy that need. There is something in your family that all of you do so well. Can I tell you, finding your purpose is not about going out and looking someplace else. Your
Yeah.
purpose, the thing that you were created to do, it's literally deposited inside of you. You don't
Yeah.
go outside to find what your purpose is. I can't go and find another seed and plant it and hope to get apples. Apples come out of apple seeds. So everything that God wants you to do to accomplish in this life, he deposited it inside of you like the apple seed. Apples come out of apples. So consider, what do your family do well? What do you do well or really love doing?
Correct.
Your
Yeah.
purpose is literally written in your DNA. It's not an external thing. You can use the things on the outside, like I did, to refine those skills, but you
Yeah.
cannot find your purpose from the outside of you. And it's really critical that we understand that our purpose begins in our mind.
Yeah.
God deposited the seed, the purpose in us, and we begin to understand what it is by using our mind. This is our most valuable asset. In everything I do, if I can help people to understand that their mind is their most valuable asset, and the investment we make in ourselves is our greatest investment in life. If we just understood those two things, we would begin to walk purposefully in our purpose. I encourage people to stay green. As a matter of fact, in a Toastmasters conference many years ago, they asked me to create a phrase or a saying that hopefully would last a lifetime. And my phrase was, when you're green, you grow, and when you're ripe, you rot.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
this banana I'm holding, it's almost past ripe. If I hold it for another day or so, it will begin to rot, right? So you've got to constantly try and be green, because once you get ripe, you feel like you know everything. You don't need anyone else. You don't need to learn anything. what happens? You begin to rot. So if we can maintain this, I want to be green, meaning I always want to be exploring, learning, growing, asking questions. If we stay like that, we will continuously walk purposefully in our purpose. Again, your purpose is inside of you. You don't need to go outside and find it, but you need many times to refine your purpose. Does that make sense?
It make a lot of sense. And you have me thinking, because as you said, you look at your family for your purpose. You look and see what they do. You look and see what, and I remember they always wanted to do what they want, like what they do. But I remember as a child, my, growing up in the islands, that you'd be a doctor, a nurse, a lawyer, or
Yeah.
something. But
Mhm.
my grandmother would say, you could be a housewife. And I'm like, no, that's not my purpose. I'm not going to be a housewife. You're going to be a seamstress? No, and that's not my purpose. I'm going to be a cook? No, and that's not me. And today, Sharon, today, that's not me, right?
Yes.
I'll keep
Yes.
myself around me clean. But I
Hmm.
always wanted to do something um, different. I always wanted to be like that world out there. I always was passionate about others.
Right.
I always were that person, especially the elderly. I would just go be passionate at helping them or helping other people. And so, but then, so just when, they sent me to school, they sent me to do everything. That wasn't my purpose. My
Absolutely.
brother
Yes.
did it, my other siblings did it, but it wasn't me. And now, as I sit here, I realize what my purpose was. It's
There you
helping
go.
others,
There you
helping,
go.
right?
Mhm.
And so it's so a thing that we want our kids to do, but they could, from listening to you, they can take a little bit from what you're doing and branch out to do something what they want. Because now I know I'm even an example for my granddaughter or my great grandkids. So when I leave on, they can say I leave in a legacy for them with this because they can go back and listen. So all these are what we're doing right now, but they might pick up something and do this. And for me, even though that started my nonprofit, it started so many other stuff that I did. And you said that it triggered me. It's like, oh, so then your purpose starts from a child. And again, said the stories again, our stories that brings us to our purpose. God,
Absolutely.
well, you already know where we're going to be. You already know what we're going to do.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I am so grateful that, out there, our audience, just take it. It's just our kids, we start from infant. They already know what their purpose is.
Absolutely. And here are some ways in which we can figure it out even at a deeper level. And parents can help their children identify what their purpose is as
Mhm.
well. If you find, for example, let's use a simple one. If when you're taking pictures, one of your children is always wanting to be behind the camera,
Mhm.
that person want to be the director or the photographer. There's directorship in them, there's photography in them. They don't necessarily want to be in the forefront, they want to be behind the scenes
Right.
making things happen. We can begin to see in our children and encourage them in the areas in which we identify as their strong points. However, many times we are teased, or children are teased about what they enjoy doing. It's like, oh man, he's always with that microphone, or he's always with that pen writing something. And we shame them into moving away from their purpose. Or
Yeah.
he's always dancing, or she's always dancing. You know, stop dancing, or stop twirling, stop
Mhm.
flipping. But fact is, their purpose is in the things that they love to do. Here is how you can identify your purpose as an adult. So parents can help their children by encouraging them in the things that they see that they do naturally
Yeah.
well. The other part is, as an adult, find the thing that you are passionate about, that you get really like you would do it all night and not be tired, because it shows that you've got a passion for that thing. Find the thing that makes you angry. Like you just
Mhm.
need to fix it because this is injustice and I need to,
Mhm.
make it right.
Make it right.
Whatever that thing is, or the thing you love to do, you love to cook. Anything, wherever you go, you're offering to cook for someone else, or you're offering to go care for someone, like you do, Deborah, with the children and
Yeah.
adults, elder people, or missions.
Yeah.
we all kind of have an idea of what our passion is, what
Passion.
our purpose is, but we don't take the time to sit, meditate, speak to
Yeah.
our creator, the one who deposited the purpose in us in the first place. We don't go back to them and say, hey, what is this? Am I going in the right direction? Am I supposed to be doing this? Can I tell you, when I gave my life to the Lord, I gave my life to the Lord out of anger. Because at 12 or 13, I said to him, because mom, we grew up in a Christian home, right? Mom was a Christian and we always
Yeah.
know about the Lord. But I didn't personally give my life to him until I was about 13. And this is how it went. I said, I was angry at my mother and angry at God because she'd always say, don't worry, Shari. In God's time, he'll heal you. And
Yeah.
year
Yes.
after year after year, at 13, I'm like, you're tired of hearing this, God will heal you when, I'm 13. Come on already, heal me. So I went to God, and in the Caribbean, you're told you never question God. After
You
all,
don't
he's God, he
question
can
God.
strike you dead. So after hearing that for so long and nothing happening, I said, God, if you are really God, you will heal me. I was mad at him and I was expecting now to be struck dead. So I went to my room and lied down, expecting to die. But he didn't kill me, right? But
Yeah, he's
something,
like just like you.
yeah, he didn't strike me dead. But something about that encounter made me realize that, hey, he's not this big God who wants to beat you over the head if you be real to him. And
Yeah.
that allowed me to say, okay, God, if you don't heal me today, you'll heal me tomorrow. But I just believe that if you're God, you will heal me. And
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I'm speaking today, right? Fact is, if a car is broken, what do you do with it? You take it into the mechanic or the maker of the car, and he
Mhm.
fixes it. No one makes something that they can't fix. So
Yeah.
if we were made in the image of God,
Yeah.
after his likeness, and nothing was made, first of all, without a purpose. Everything that is
It's a purpose. Yeah.
was made with a purpose. So
Purpose.
fact is, if you're broken, why not go back to your maker? If you feel broken or if you feel like I don't quite know what my purpose is,
You're
why
good.
not go back to your creator and ask him, you are my creator. Show me clearly what am I
Mm.
supposed to do? What am I supposed to be doing? For me, I know that my major purpose and everything I do, it comes back to one main thing. Help other people understand and live in
Yeah.
their purpose with passion.
Yeah. That's good. And you
That's the
said
essence of everything I do.
you said that, and just recently I was talking to someone about my purpose. As I said, I grew up growing up, they always wanted me to do something. I remember I went into corporate world, I worked in the government service, and I loved that. But this wasn't my purpose really. I loved it, I'm doing that. And I moved here, and one of the things that struck me, I ended up being a nanny. And I'm like, damn, I'm used to what I was doing. I'm used to this. I'm used to working at corporate life. I'm used to hanging out with presidents. I'm used to dressing, going to all these boards. I'm used to that, right? And then every time I turn around and I'm like, but I'm doing something, I don't like it. But why am I doing this? But other people are telling me I'm good at it. But it wasn't. It's just one day. And you said, going back to God, I was driving in my car. I had moved here to Atlanta because it took me years to really figure, put it into my mind that God is taking me on a journey.
Mhm.
Because remember, I love helping others. I love doing for others. That's what I love. I did my migration stuff. I would still volunteer. I would be doing all what I want, right?
Nice.
For immigrants and everything. And I'm like, but why you have me here? This is not what I want. I took every single course I could, and I'm still there, like no
Mhm.
moving. So one day I'm driving, and I'm like, God, and like you said, you get angry with him. I was so angry with God. I'm like, God, why are you having me doing this? I don't like this. This is not what I have to do.
Yeah.
And it's like going mad and angry with him. But when I was calm, it just came to me.
Yes.
I have you there for a purpose. And the thing he told me, the children are my future. And I'm like, what are you talking about?
Wow. Wow.
What
God
are you
was.
talking about? But then I had to say, as you say in that purpose, I had to go back now and look back at the journey.
Mm-hmm.
When I left Trinidad, I didn't live on my own. He brought me here because he take me out to the world that I wanted to be in, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's in his purpose? He brought me here to show me that this is where I wanted to do. This is what I wanted to do. And that's how now,
Absolutely.
me going to Africa, it's something that God wanted me to do. So if I'm going with kids, he taught me how to be with kids.
Absolutely. Yes.
So
It's
your
amazing.
purpose, and I'm like, wow, it's just what you're saying is what
Yeah.
our journey in life. But we have to
Absolutely.
stay focused on God because God knew, as I always say, I love Psalm 139. And the part that really strikes me is when he
Mm-hmm.
said, I know you before you were born. I know you're coming. I know you're going. I know. And that is the one every day
Yeah.
that sticks in my head now. You already know what you want to know. I laugh at it because
Absolutely.
when things happen, it happened for a purpose. It happened for a reason. So we got to take you to
Absolutely.
the journey and how I became
Absolutely.
Toastmasters because I didn't used to talk. I didn't speak, but he put me into that to do something that I need to do. Look what I'm doing now, and I can take this anywhere and share my story with people. And it's a purpose because you're helping others, kids. So thank
Absolutely.
you for that. That is so.
Absolutely. That
That is.
many times people don't realize that the things where they are at right now is part of the journey to accomplishing their purpose. You know, the
Mhm.
word talks about don't despise small beginnings. When I was temping at these many different companies that I really wanted to be permanent at, I didn't realize the value of being at many different corporate companies, working primarily in an executive position. Like if the executive assistant is out, I'll be assisting the CEO of the company or the CFO or whomever, or even Marvel. I've worked there too. But my
Right.
point is, during that period, I was learning about what made companies work well, and
Mhm.
what didn't work well. I was learning how to become an effective business consultant to help other businesses. Part of
Right.
my responsibility right now is I'm the downtown Connellsville, Pennsylvania liaison, where I consult with over 150 plus businesses on growing their business and how to develop strategies for success and so on. I coach executives and individuals on how to live their life with passion and purpose, how to walk or accomplish their career, or achieve the career they want and so on. We don't realize though that the little things we have been through in our lives, or that we are going through, the places we are at this moment, if we are conscious of walking in our purpose, everything we go through in life can help us walk successfully in the purpose in which God has called us to.
Yeah.
Of all of the leadership skills I have learned over the years, I have now established Breakthrough Leadership Institute. In Breakthrough, what we do is basically help individuals establish or develop communication and leadership skills to help them walk purposefully in what they were called to do. It's a totally non academic communication and leadership skills development. That means that all of the skills I learned in Dale Carnegie, all of the skills I've learned in Toastmasters International, all of the skills I've learned working with these many different companies are now able to be merged together. Again, our skills are transferable. Most of our skills are transferable. So I'm
It's,
able to now transfer what I've learned into this area to build
mhm.
other people up. I have a passion for women, especially those who have been abused or who are challenged in one area or another and don't know their purpose. And recently, as part of Breakthrough Leadership Institute, I have begun this one of a kind store. It's like a dress for success, but it's like dress for success for life and success, where I'm able to give them free clothing. This is all coming out of my pocket right now, but eventually it will be self-sustaining. But my point is, we all have something in us that the world need. We are
Yeah.
sitting on a chair right now that was created by someone, right? It was a bench maybe before, but now we are sitting on a chair. So everything that is, there is a possibility for improvement. So whatever you're into right now, consider, how can I use the skills I'm learning now and my past? And by the way, Deb, I I commend you for sharing your past. And it took me a long time to share mine as well, because
Mm.
there's a level of shame that comes with being abused. And I was abused as well. And even as an adult, there's a level of shame of telling your story that's connected with abuse. And sometimes we feel that I just want to hide it. Can I tell you, until we can be transparent, there is
Yeah.
no transformation. So we've got to
Yes.
be transparent about who we are, what we've been through, what
Mhm.
we want to do, and what we are going through in order to truly transform not just our lives, but other people's lives as well. People are waiting to hear your story, to hear my story, to hear the story of your listeners in order to help them move from where they are to their next level. So we cannot despise what we are going through. Know that it very well could be part of our or of us accomplishing our true
Oh,
purpose.
choose purpose. Yeah, and that's so true because what I realized since I started telling my story, I have been a changed person. I
Mhm.
have been look at life indifferently.
Yes.
Communication with my kids are way better. Communications with my siblings are way better.
Wow.
It's because you hold back and you don't tell your story. And then some people's like, why are you telling your story to the world? But hey, how many other people out there who are going through the same thing and you're going to die and not even say something to help someone else? And that's what we hear. That's my purpose. And now I look at my story. My abuse was something God had me go through because I can speak it today. Even though
Mhm.
I never, it's something that hurt you, but it took me 40 years or what to do it. But now I'm happy because what I realized that when I talk to people, I'm meeting so many other people now. When I
Yeah.
said, hey, well, I was abused and this is why I started so and so, they were like, oh, you said that. We were in a meeting just one night this week, and I'm not afraid to say it. Before I was ashamed.
Uh,
I was ashamed saying the word, right? But when I said it, this other woman came up and she's like, oh my gosh, I too, what Deborah just said, I too went through that. And I said, what I realized when you abuse, you go through abusive marriages, you go through, you attract the wrong people. She turned and she said, me too. And I said,
Wow.
that's why. I realized that only after I started speaking about it.
Absolutely.
We
So
attract
until
the
we,
wrong people in our lives.
mhm.
We
So
don't talk about it, it stays there.
you're right. So until we tell our story, we don't know the other person's story. And the funny thing about it is, we basically give others permission, like what happened in your meeting. By you sharing your truth, you gave her permission to share her truth,
Mm-hmm.
right? And abuse is something that really keeps you back from walking purposefully. The sad
Yeah.
thing about abuse is that we have a choice, not just in abuse, but in every area of
Yeah,
life.
yes,
We
but
have a
every
choice.
aspect of it, yeah, we have a choice.
We can stay where we are, wallow in self pity, and say, poor me,
Hmm.
or figure
Yeah,
out how can I use this abuse to and move forward, move out of it, and help someone else. What am I learning, or what have I learned through this process that I can use to help someone else? How can I walk purposefully in my purpose despite the abuse that
yeah.
the abuse that I've been through? Many times
Mhm.
we feel that because we have been through something sad or bad, or we have been in jail, or we've had children out of wedlock or abortion or something, we feel that we are no longer fit
Well,
for our purpose. But
we
can I
are.
tell you, that's exactly when someone who has had an abortion is the best person to say, hey, we need to be pro-life. Because I mean, fact is, you don't you're hoping that they don't have it in the first place. But if it is that it did happen, instead of lying in shame and wondering, oh my God, I'm just a nothing and a nobody, you have an opportunity now and go be, hey, please don't do this. Don't do this. It breaks you. It scars you. Give it up for for adoption. Give it up for,
Somebody
but
else.
don't do this because I've been there and I know how I'm feeling. Or I've been
Mhm.
abused and I know what it feels like to have a
What
husband
is that?
who
Yeah.
pretends to love you on the outside and come home and beat up on you. No,
Mhm.
you can no, especially if you're out of that situation, you're
Yeah.
in a position to say, hey, you can make a difference. You can plan to
Somebody
leave
right.
safely. That there are people
Mhm.
out there to help you. And it doesn't take away from you accomplishing your purpose.
Purpose.
That
Yeah.
is really critical.
That's critical. because you said something just now that when abortion and for me, I know I grew up. My mom and six of us, so we grew up. My mom had me, she was 16. And I never thought about it that way. She was 16, my grandparents take care of us. We were fine. I would say I grew up a lifestyle in my childhood. Yes, I was abused. I couldn't talk about it. But I had a home, I had a roof over my house. I could go to school. I get what I want, day and night. It's not, some kids don't have that. It's six of us, our siblings, we got it, right? Today I can say I have a house, we have a place that my grandfather left for us. So even though I'm living here and I could go home and I have, assets home, right? They left that for us. But one day it made me, I never, because my mom and I didn't have that communication relationship. But in going through this, since talking about my abuse and talking about it, take you back. Look, I can forgive her because I didn't know what she went through, right? But the thing about it, I forgive her and I love her because she didn't abort me. Because she was 16.
Wow.
Right? She didn't abort me and she didn't abort my other siblings.
Yes.
Okay?
Wow.
We don't know our dads. Our dads didn't grow up with us. But I have a dad. Beautiful man. He was my dad. He was my grandfather. And trust me, I can tell anyone, I had the man around my life who was there for us. But you saying that now, it's that now I can go back and say to my mom, look, I forgive you for what you did because you didn't know what you were doing. And I have a lot of young people, even though when I talk about it, I'm meeting people who say the same thing, that they're angry with their parents. But it's a good thing because now I'm looking back. I wasn't to go to college. I choose that path. My uncle was mad with me. I took that choice because I had 5 other siblings who were behind me, who were younger, right? If I choose to go to college, I choose to get a job. I choose to take the course I wanted to go to. I went to technical school. I did secretarial school. I choose to do that, right? That was my choice. And my choice still have my siblings. Each one of them today are successful. And I am successful in my own way. So sometimes, so God already knows that the purpose we have in life. And then I come back again. The purpose is me taking care of others people's children. Now I can go to the orphanages and go and get their name. I can tell these children my story because these children are the ones who are being abused. These are the ones who are in sex trafficking. These are the ones who are people hurting. If they can't talk.
And you're their voice. You're basically going to be their voice. That's it. And we don't get that. We don't get that. The things and the fact that, okay, so 2 things you said that I want to touch on. One, many people believe that you must go to college in order to be successful. That's not true. If you really consider the success to be walking confidently in the direction of your goals and dreams, then you're a success. If you walk confidently in that, you are successful because you're pursuing a goal, a dream, and you're walking confidently in it. Going forward, and people don't know this yet. Okay, so first of all, I must say I'm grateful that I was able to go to NYU and graduate. I did that working full-time and going to school full-time. That was a huge success and investment in self. You don't have to go to college to be a great success. You could be a self-learner and teach yourself the things you need to know. As a matter of fact, going forward, people will be going to college for certificates in specific areas that they want to pursue their purpose, not just to get a degree for the sake of getting a degree. That's happening even now. So don't you, and many people out there feel like, I don't have a college degree, so I can't do this and I can't do that. No, you have it inside of you. What you need to begin doing and fulfilling your purpose, it resides in you. Everything you do externally is to help you refine it, then to produce it and give it to the world. Secondly, I remember at NYU one time where my classmates were going to a class to learn to lose their accent. And I chose not to
lose their accent. I love that.
Yes, and I chose not to because I was still dealing with being afraid of speaking in public, right? Although I had been through so many classes and so on. And now I was recently on a show, People Who Inspire with Mary Dreslak. She lives in this area. And I walked into a store recently and I didn't say anything. I just said a quick hi. And the lady said, "Oh my gosh, I know you. You were on that show." I'm like, "Really?" She's like, "Yeah, I recognize your accent." The same thing they were running to lose. I kept mine because I thought to myself, I didn't want to have to go put myself in a position to be embarrassed and stutter. So I didn't go, kept my accent, and now people are identifying me based on my accent. So the things we think are not good or that ought not to be, consider that it's part of your purpose. You can use it to accomplish your purpose.
Yes, accomplish
Does
your
that make
purpose.
sense?
It makes sense because you're saying that. For me, I did Toastmasters because I wanted to speak in 2015. When I started my nonprofit, what I realized with me is that if I have to do this, I have to be able to speak to a crowd, or I have to be, even though I can speak, I can persuade people, but I needed to bring that out where I can speak, right?
Yeah.
And I can believe when I did myself in Toastmasters in what, 2015, by 2019, I was a DTM. So that's when I said, whoa, because that was my time. So for me, that determines me going to college, doing a Toastmaster, because it's like I did a college degree, right? But
Absolutely.
it took me,
Absolutely.
it took me 15 years. It took me 4 years, 4 years.
Absolutely.
So that's what I'm saying. It's no matter what, your purpose could be cooking, it could be a chef, it
I
could be
like
a
that.
taxi driver,
Yeah.
it could be anything
Yeah.
you want to do. That anything
Absolutely.
that you enjoy, you're giving that joy in. You have that joy
Absolutely.
in that. But because we all are not the same. We all not to be
Yeah.
presidents or CEOs, but it's your purpose because by driving, you're helping someone to get somewhere.
Yeah.
Right? By cooking,
Absolutely.
you're helping someone like me who doesn't like to cook.
Yeah.
You can make money on that, you know.
Yes.
It's when like cleaning, you're helping somebody else who don't like to clean. Or even so,
Absolutely.
that's so it's a purpose, and we all are here for a purpose. So this is so grateful. I'm so grateful for the topic we had, even though
Yeah.
I didn't even go towards what we had planned. We got to see defining our purpose, and it is
Absolutely.
so great that we were able to define our purpose. And I love it that, and I know you do businesses too. You help
Yes.
businesses to
Yes.
define. That's
Businesses.
one of the
Exactly.
things I saw here that was
Absolutely.
sort of intriguing to me too, because yes, we may be a business owner, or we may be business, we still struggling with, am I right in doing this? Or am I wrong in doing this? But some business owners, I'm doing this because the crowd is doing it. And
Mm.
then, is this really my purpose?
Doesn't always work. Doesn't always work. As a matter of fact, if I had to encourage anyone in really walking purposefully in their purpose, is one, to know that your mind is your most valuable asset and you should use it.
Yeah.
Two, invest in yourself. There is something about just sitting still, going before and not praying. Pray first and then sit still, because in that stillness, you're able to get answers to your prayer. For
Regret.
15 minutes a day, just sit still doing nothing and just present a problem. God, this is what my issue is. And He will direct you. You'll get ideas. And I have a pen and paper ready,
A
because
paper,
you'll
I
get
just want to
ideas
say that. A pen and
to know
paper. Make
what.
sure you always have a pen and paper when you do that.
Exactly. So your mind is your most valuable asset. Understand that you are your greatest investment, and that 15 minutes may be challenging initially, but do it because that's an investment into understanding you and getting answers that you need. And the other part of that, of what I like to say is, hey, think about the things you like, enjoy, love, or have been told that you do well. And
Yeah.
finally, live with CIA: character, integrity, and an amazing attitude. If you do that and you keep investing in yourself and keep going into your mind, figuring, what am I supposed to do? There's no way you cannot live purposefully in your purpose.
It's true. That is so true. That is so true. For me, my meditation is that, and I have learned to do that. So sometimes I would go in church and sit down quietly, and I
Mhm.
have, and when I'm finished, I'm like, I read a whole page. because of the things that come to my
Right.
head. Like, and when I look back at it, I have it in a journal. So when I look back at it, some of the things I had accomplished. I
Yep.
accomplished when you go back. So you go back that same day, you don't really look at it. But when I go back and I'm like, oh, I accomplished this for my time, spending quiet time with God. And that's what He wants us to do. Quietly, quiet time with Him. Because sometimes you do it early in the morning, your day goes so good because you already set the path what your day
Yeah.
is going to be.
Exactly.
In this is I love this topic. Identifying your purpose. It's your purpose. God already give it to us. He already have that seed planted in us. We already know what you already know what He wants us to do. But sometimes it's us with the world. We take the world. We took everything out there and think that we have to do it, but we don't.
Mhm.
We
Yeah.
don't. And I learned
And
that purpose. Trust me. I
absolutely.
learned
Oh,
this from when
I absolutely, Deb. I'm so sorry. Just an FYI for you, because I know you do so many different things, and people think that I can't do this and that and this at the same time. My purpose must be just this one, and that's not true. So I just
that's
want to
not
let
true.
people know that. Mhm.
It's not true. It's not true because I do more than one stuff. But every time I have
So,
a for everything that I do. Like I
yeah.
know Friday and Saturday, it's my show. That's the day I prep. I talk to people on Friday. I do what about I prep? Saturday morning I prep. You see me after Saturday evening, like after 2 o'clock. I'm good.
Right.
So then I record my other stuff, but I have my other stuff that I will do. I set time for that. Plus, I
Hmm.
set time for me too, because I still have to enjoy life. So I got to set time.
Absolutely.
So no matter what businesses you have, you got to set time to do it, and you can, and it's always
Absolutely.
be successful.
Hmm.
It's always successful. What I love about my business, I can take it anywhere in the world. It doesn't have to sit in an office, and that's what I love.
Yeah.
I can take it anywhere I go with me. So I love that. And
Hmm.
I know we are about to. This was such. We didn't even. It was such a great topic. I thank you, my sister. I thank you. I thank you for coming on and opening it up for our audience, opening it up so that they too. And I would go out to our audience. You listen to our topic today. Just please, and I hope you had pen and paper out there taking notes because this really identifying your purpose, really sitting down and spending time with God quietly. We don't believe in God, but whatever you believe in, sitting quietly and taking that time and writing it down and walking in it, not running, walking it. Because you walk in your purpose, you are going to be successful.
Yeah.
And your children, as Sharon said before, your children, and it's true because I work with kids, and we have AJ who was on the show.
Hmm.
He's super talented. He just wanted to be a designer, right?
Hmm.
Today he's in the marketplace selling his designs, right? His t-shirt, his tie-dye t-shirt. He's only 14 because you have to take them from that young age and that purpose they have. He's going with that purpose. My granddaughter, she loved music. Today she is at a music class, a band something. That's
Wow.
her interest. She's an artist. So whatever they like, and she's only what she started when she was 12. Their purpose, and I love it when you said we got to start it from when we were young, and
Hmm.
if you mold them into that, they are going to be like the success in the world, right? So I love it. One of the things what I love doing, and I know you have your breakthrough show and all that. So leave some final tips with our audience and how they can contact you, how they can reach out to you, because I know you can help a lot of businesses, a lot of people out there, succeed.
Absolutely. Know that my tips for you would be to know that you were created with a purpose. Nothing was made that does not have a purpose. So, despite what challenges you're going through, understand that your purpose has been established before you were born. Your objective now is to find what that purpose is by looking inside of you, not external. You don't need to go look and find it someplace. It's resident in your DNA. So think about the things you love or enjoy doing and start from there and then help other people because your purpose is not for you. I've never seen an apple eating an apple. So whatever purpose is inside of you, it's for the blessing of someone else, of the public. So figure out how, start with your family, your friends, your neighbors, doing things that you love to do for them. If it's cooking, cook and give them free food. Let them test it and tell you what you're doing well, what they like, what they don't like, and your purpose can grow from there. So don't deny, and be willing to take feedback, because that's the only way you know what you're doing well and what you need to improve on. But keep going after that. And how do you reach me? Whether you're a person, a business, businesses are struggling right now. If you need assistance, you can reach me by emailing me at SAJ, that's S as in Sharon, A as in Apple, J as in jumping, SAJ Consulting Services at gmail.com. Or you can call me at 440-497-0172. 440-497-0172. And I'd love to speak with you and help you.
Thank you, my sister. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for coming and sharing your knowledge and things today with our audience. And I will talk to you in a few minutes. And
Yes.
you know what? So as we go on today, our audience, as we about to finish, I want to thank you, and I hope you guys take the tips and nuggets that you get today. Another thing I want to tell my audience out there, I am leaving in a week and 2 weeks to Ghana, Benin, and Ghana, and I'm going on a mission trip. And sure, we'll do little excerpts from what I'm doing and send it on. But I would love your help. One thing I would love if you can support us with help going to our GoFundMe. Um, Fund me has a GoFundMe, and it's on my Facebook page, and it's on. I know I post it out every day. Is Ghana Benin Ghana mission trip, and it's on GoFundMe. You please go on and donate to help the orphans. So we are going out there. We have orphans who right now who need our help, and I'm going out there to work with them for like 2 months, a month, sorry. And so I would love you so much. So please go on to GoFundMe, Benin Ghana mission trip, and donate to help us so that we can take money that we can help the orphans out in these two countries. Thank you guys for coming on. I hope you get some good top nuggets today from our guest, Sharon A. Joseph. And you actually left your information so you can contact her. And see you guys soon. Bye.